Hello, this is Catherine Marie, and today is day 0 of the Paxlovid study at Stanford, the second one, the Recover-Vital study. I did do the first one last year. In that study, there were two different groups, the control group and the Paxlovid group. And I was in the Paxlovid group. They confirmed after the study. I felt amazing about 2 to 4 hours after the first dose. And I remember walking my dog through the park and walking for a mile or something, and mile or two, and just feeling like I could breathe. And it just felt like all of the symptoms were like literally melting off of me. It was just amazing. I was so grateful. So then I ran myself into the ground because I went back to work and I thought I was cured. And I still am very grateful for the time that I had that was pretty normal. And then I had a really bad crash in mid-November, and I have not been back to work since then. And just the smallest things really do cause disproportionate things to occur in my body. So today, day 0, the study that I'm doing today is Recover-Vital. It's at Stanford and at many, many, many other locations. I actually found out about it because I was looking up clinicaltrials.gov for another study that I was looking for details on, and I saw it and I couldn't believe it, because when I was in the study last year, I said, can you please do longer with Paxlovid, because it really helps. It was like a night and day difference. It felt amazing. And I was like, wow, I'm not crazy. Like the symptoms are actually gone. Like I can actually walk like a regular person, like a regular 40-year-old person, so oh my goodness. Okay, let me get back on track here. So I decided this time, because last time I had to be off of certain medications, like all the supplements and everything. And some medications you have to do different dosing because they are metabolized and eliminated similar pathways as the Paxlovid. So you have to decrease the amount of the medicines that use the same pathways, since Paxlovid is going to be in there too. So when I did this study last year, when I knew that I was going to have to stop taking a bunch of the meds and just kind of the bare bones meds for the study, I stopped taking everything the morning of day 0. So looking back, I just don't think that it was really fair to the study, because I don't think that I was seeing my actual baseline. And looking back, also looking back, I remember that when I realized that I could walk my dog in the park, all of a sudden I realized how severe my symptoms had been. When they started going away, I had just completely minimized them in my head, because I thought, well, at least I'm not bedridden 100% of the time. So there are people that have it worse than me. So my symptoms are not severe. But in reality, they really were severe. And yeah, they wax and wane and change and all that, but everybody's do. So I wish now that I had said, like, a lot of the things when they first asked me at the beginning of, like, for day 0 for the first study, I put moderate for a lot of things that really should have put severe. So it looked like there wasn't as big of a change as there really was, because their only options were mild, moderate, and severe. It wasn't, a Likert scale of 0 to 10 or whatever. So, or 1 to 10. So today, because I want to make sure it's a good baseline, I have been not taking a lot of my meds, like all the ones that I'm not going to take during the study. I haven't had them for 2 days, and I feel like complete crap. And I'm so glad that this is the baseline that they're going to see, because the supplements seem to be really masking some of the symptoms and making me a little more functional than I would be otherwise. And just it was so crazy yesterday. I smelled bacon and I wanted to vomit. I've had very few GI symptoms with long COVID, and for whatever reason, I've just been having tons of symptoms of Paxlovid since I stopped the supplements. And it's like just vomiting, diarrhea, just like really bad stuff. And I didn't like, I don't know. I don't know why or what I'm taking that usually sequesters that or suppresses that. I don't know, but I noticed that I had to sleep all weekend. I barely was out of bed. One of my siblings is visiting from out of town and is helping with childcare. And if she wasn't here, I don't think I would have been able to handle the last 2 days, because I just have been completely useless. I feel useless anyway. So even right now as I'm talking, I have abdominal cramps. It's just bizarre to me. So on the bright side, I'm going to show some really good data, hopefully for the study. I have been feeling so bad the last 2 days that I've been thinking, yep, this is why people don't want to live with long COVID. I understand. I feel it right now. I'm feeling it. It's complete, it's awful. It's just the worst agony ever to not be able to do anything. It's just, especially for somebody who's usually running around and doing all sorts of stuff. And I've read stories in some of the Facebook long COVID support groups, and I know that there are a lot of people that have had similar experiences or that have similar personality types. And I think that this is one of the most difficult parts of having long COVID. Anyway, so now I'm just feeling really anxious because I'm nervous about what they're going to have me do, because I think they're doing more testing this time around with exercising and what was the other thing? And cognitive stuff. So I'm worried that I'm going to be not able to drive, and I don't feel really good anyway. So my sister is going to drive me to and from the appointment today, and I'll report back with what I end up doing the first day. I think it's just going to be a lot of blood draw. I thought it was 4 hours, but they emailed me back and said it's an hour and a half today, so it shouldn't be too bad. But I'm really nervous about going because the last time, for the last study, they had me sit and stand from a chair, and I was able to do like a ton of them in a minute. And I know now that I don't think I could. I will be so out of breath just from the smallest thing. I'm scared that I'm going to feel really bad, or have a really bad post-exertional malaise thing. So day 0 is today, and I will report back, but I am feeling like complete crap with lots and lots of GI symptoms, whole body like malaise, just hard time breathing. My pulse ox has been not super great. It's been in like the mid to low 90s, which is like not, I don't have to go to the hospital or anything, but it's just like for me, that my age with like, it's crazy for me to see that. So anyway, that's it for now. So I will keep recording some segments, and then eventually I think I'll put these all together so you can kind of see the segments from the long COVID study. Okay, thanks very much. Bye for now. This is Catherine Marie, and I'm going to give you a little catch up for what happened at the screening appointment and then what happened today, because I just did quick brain dumps, but they were not very cohesive, and in one of them, I was outside with very, very loud birds twittering and construction in the background, and it was very distracting, so I'm going to do a more quiet one. So, on the screening day, which was yesterday, I did not realize until the end of the day that it was just a screening day and not day 0. So I did not get my medication on the screening day. What they do is they have you give a urine sample to check for pregnancy, several vials of blood. You set up a website login where you do all of your surveys. You fill out consent forms and other forms. You fill out a bunch of surveys. And I had been off a lot of meds and supplements that may have interacted with how, like, if they are metabolized or excreted in the same way as Paxlovid. Paxlovid can be a little bit rough on the liver, so if anything else is metabolized the same way, you want to decrease those doses or stop taking them if you don't really need them, because otherwise it could hit your liver a little too hard. Or since the liver has more work to do, it would end up having higher levels of medication in your blood than you're supposed to. So for example, I take amlodipine for blood pressure. I usually take 10 milligrams, and because I'm taking Paxlovid, I'm going to take a half dose, 5 milligrams, because since my liver is going to be dealing with the Paxlovid, it's not going to metabolize the amlodipine quite as quickly. So I can take a lower dose of amlodipine and it'll have the same effect as 10 milligrams. So, okay. And then the other thing is they gave you a stool sample kit. I will get into that in a minute at the very end. There were 3 cohorts that you were assigned to, one of the 3. One was the cognitive dysfunction cohort, the dysautonomia cohort, or the exercise intolerance cohort. And I believe I was put in the dysautonomia cohort. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the stool sample kit and how to use it. So fast forward a bit if you do not want to hear the details, but if you think you will need to know how to give a stool sample, then I will explain to you how to do it, because it's not obvious. It's kind of rather convoluted. So okay, but if you're squeamish and you don't like talking about poop or whatever, then just fast forward. Okay, so the stool sample kit, they give you a box and it already has a prepaid FedEx label on it. And basically what you're supposed to do is have a BM, and it helps if you just, they give you a piece of paper to put across the toilet to catch the stool, but I have not had success with that. I don't know why it's in there. It doesn't work. So usually if you have a stool and it's in the front of the toilet, you can use the little flat headed wand thing that comes with the tube to get a stool sample. And then with the tubes, you take off, in my case, both tubes had a purple top. So you take off the purple top and you wipe the stool with the wand head into the top of the tube. And it's a little teeny tiny opening that's maybe, I don't know, maybe a fourth of a centimeter or something. So you don't need that much. And then once you've wiped it, then you put the lid back on, and then you invert it back and forth a few times. And then you put it in the little bag designated for it. You seal it closed. You pull off the little sticker and close it. And then there are for each tube a little, looks like a little pocket of the bubble wrapping, and you stick each one after they're in the clear plastic bag. After they're sealed in there, then you put them in there so they don't break. And then there's a paper that says your number, like what number you are in the study, like what number you're assigned. And this is the really important part. You have to write the date and time that you provided the stool sample. That's really, really important, because if you don't write that down, they will not be able to use it. I tell you this not just from having done this in the previous Paxlovid study, but just practicing as a nurse practitioner, how many times I've had to ask people to provide another stool sample because when they brought it to the lab or they sent it in, it did not include the date and time, or they couldn't read it or something like that. So make sure you have a very legible date and time in the place on the piece of paper where they want you to. Sometimes it's a label on the container, but whatever way they want you to label it, make sure you label it well. But for this study, it'll be on a piece of paper. Okay, so you put the piece of paper and the 2 tubes with stool inside the box. You close the box up, and then there's another piece of paper that you get with it that originally was in the box, and that describes how to call FedEx. And basically, you call FedEx, you say, this is an express pickup, you give your address, and they will send somebody within a couple of hours to come and pick it up. And it's sent to the Mayo Clinic. I don't know, I guess they're the hub of where all the stool samples are going in the country, like all the different sites that are participating. So it's really important that on day, like the screening day, you provide the stool sample so they have a baseline. And then I think there's only one other time that you have to provide a stool sample. So that's good. But I imagine that it is, it's not the most easy thing to think or talk about. And I remember when I was doing it at home, I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm so glad no one else is home right now, because it's just kind of like, and thankfully, the person who gave me the kit provided gloves, which was very nice. And the other thing is if you have really significant GI issues and you're having like a very loose stool, then you just would take, this is my opinion, you could just take a plastic cup and kind of go in there and then pour a little bit of it into each of the tubes and then put the lid on. So that should explain you're now fully educated on how to do a stool sample kit. Okay, and then when I was there, I realized that it was not day 0, it was the screening day, and I didn't realize they were 2 separate days. So I said, oh, is there any way that I could come this week? Because they wanted me to come next week because I had already cut my medication in half or stopped it. And so they were really, really, really nice, and they let me come back much more quickly than I was going to have to come back. So for day 0, this is what they do. They take vitals. You do some surveys. They ask you a few more questions. And then for me, because I'm in the dysautonomia cohort, they had me lay down for 5 minutes and took my vitals. And then they had me stand up for 1 minute and took my vitals. And then they had me stand up for 5 minutes and took my vitals. And then they had me stand up for 10 minutes and take my vitals. And the 10 minutes standing, I was really surprised how sick I started to feel when I was holding on to the little contraption that's on wheels that they wheel around to take vitals, and the blood pressure cuff is on there. The blood pressure cuff is called a sphygmomanometer. So that is it's a fancy way of saying a blood pressure cuff. But anyway, I was holding on to the contraption that they have the sphygmomanometer on, because it was helping me stay upright. So I think I was cheating a little bit, but the nurse said it was okay because it didn't say anywhere that I couldn't hold on to something. So then after that, she said, okay, you can sit down. So I immediately laid down on the cot and I just had to rest for 5 or 10 minutes. And then I had to fill out a survey with the symptoms that I was experiencing. And they had things such as lightheadedness, tremulousness, I believe was one of the words. I didn't know that was a word, but I really was trembling pretty hard. And I also had some nausea, headache. They asked about any blurred vision, which I did not have, but just a few different things like that. And then I was really, really excited because then I got the first dose of medication and they went over the medication schedule. They have it very clearly marked when to take what pill. So that there are not two pills. There are 3 pills you take each time you take the medication. 1 pill is the augmentation pill, that's also an antiviral, but does not affect Paxlovid. So that's in the bottle, and you take 1 pill from there. And then there's a punch out type card that has the medication in it for the study. And so you punch out, for the morning, you take it twice a day. So in the morning, you punch out the 2 tablets and you take 1 of the tablets from the bottle. And then for the evening, you punch out the other 2 tablets and take that with 1 pill from the bottle. But all of this is very clearly explained. So don't worry about trying to remember it from just me saying it. And I think that's pretty much it. So the one thing that I asked about was the contact information for the study, because I said, I think there are a lot of people that would really be interested in doing this study, but it's people don't randomly just go on clinicaltrials.gov to look at stuff. I'm a weirdo, so I'm on the website looking for stuff, but not everybody who has long COVID even has the energy to, at any point, to look at it, So I said, is there just a main number they can call? And she said, well, you can just Google it. And so when I got home today, I did Google it, but I couldn't find a number. It was just article after article, web page after web page that had links that I would click and go to another web page. And it just was kind of circuitous, So I emailed the study coordinator and asked her if she had a specific number or what she recommended, because I was having a hard time finding it and I really want to pass that information along to you guys. So that is it for now. I will keep you posted on any updates. I believe my next appointment is in 2 weeks. Yes, that makes sense, in 2 weeks, because I was only given 15 days worth of the medication. So you come back between day 15 and 16-ish. So that is it. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you. Bye. Hello, this is Catherine Marie, and this is day 1 of being in the study. I took the medication this morning. It's my 2nd dose. And I'm happy to report that I think I am in one of the 2 groups that does get the Paxlovid, either the 15-day Paxlovid group or the 25-day Paxlovid group, because I noticeably I've noticed that my GI symptoms have completely resolved, and I also have noticed that I have a little bit less brain fog than the last few days, and I am not as fatigued as the last few days. I'm still resting. I don't feel cured or anything like that, but I definitely feel that there's been an improvement. I'm pretty sure it's Paxlovid, but it's also possible that this is just the natural waxing and waning of long COVID symptoms. So I will, I'll keep tabs on it and report back. But I just wanted to let you know that today I feel very hopeful, and I already am having a much better day than the previous 3 days. And yesterday evening, I was able to go out to dinner with my husband, which we don't get a chance to do very much because usually I'm too tired. And I didn't have to go to bed the moment we got home. So I think I probably did get Paxlovid, because if I look objectively at everything and my ability to not have to sleep so much, I think that tells me that I got the Paxlovid. The horrible taste has not started yet. The headache has not started yet. And I think those things probably occur. I think they occur on days 2 and 3, but I will report back. Okay, so that's the update on day 1. Hello, this is Catherine Marie, and I'm doing a quick check-in for days 2 and 3. The things that seemed to improve is that, first of all, when my husband came home, he told me that he noticed I was sitting up, and usually I'm not sitting up. I'm resting against something that is helping me stay up. And the other thing is I've noticed that I haven't had to go to bed as early, and I'm still taking the same number of naps. The interesting thing is that I have not started feeling the bitter taste in my mouth, and I'm not sure why. I think it usually starts on day 3, so I'm expecting it to start. I also remember having a headache on day 3 before. So it is possible, I suppose, that I did not get the Paxlovid, or maybe I'm just not having the same side effects as I've had in the past. Today, I also walked 0.6 miles, which I know does not sound like a big deal if you are a regular person, but if you are a long hauler, you know that is rock star status, basically. We took our dog for a walk while we dropped our kid off at preschool and walked back and did a little loop, so that was cool. And I also had a really great talk with Dr. Zeest Khan and her podcast, Long COVID MD. It was one of the podcasts that inspired me to do this podcast, and it was so great to meet her and talk to her. I'll try to put the link for her podcast in the details of this episode, but it's called Long COVID MD, and I have no idea what the episode will be called, but I was really excited about that. And I did not have any, well, I guess I did, but not until we stopped recording. I didn't have any brain issues until we stopped recording, but I think we talked for, 45 minutes that was recorded. So I was really, really happy, because usually I would really struggle to think quick enough to get the words that I needed while I was talking. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was different that would show that I'm improving. I've been still trying to take the same number of naps, because I just don't want to assume that I'm fine and then just go all willy-nilly and do whatever I want. So I'm still taking the 3 naps a day. But I do feel more able to do things than I did, at least over the weekend before the study started. So that is good. And I think that's all I've got for today. So I'll talk soon. Okay, bye. Today is day 4. And yesterday I was very, very active. In the evening, I went to a group family therapy thing, and then I went out to dinner, and we went for about a 10-minute walk after we got home. And all in all, I felt very, pretty good. But I fell asleep pretty fast, and I woke up today, and as soon as I started to get my kiddo ready for school, almost right away I was like, oh my gosh, I need to lay back down. And so thankfully my husband took over, and I proceeded to fall asleep for 2.5 hours. And I woke up and my temp is 100, and then of course I tried to do a load of laundry, and then it went up to 100.3. So now I took some Motrin and Tylenol, and I'm gonna try to rest, but I'm kind of frustrated because I really have no way of knowing if I have Paxlovid on board or not, and I'm worried that I was thinking I had Paxlovid on board and I didn't, and then I overdid it. So I'm gonna try to just proceed as if I have the placebo instead, and try to relax a little bit and not go wild with excitement and activity, because I am a little worried I overdid it yesterday, even though it felt really good to do that, but I feel like I'm paying for it now. So anyway, that's it for today. I'll give another update soon. Bye.
Today is day 5, Paxlovid study. Yesterday I slept the vast majority of the day, and yet I still felt happy that I was able to do more somehow, like mentally I was able to do more. But I still was having a lot of the long COVID symptoms. Today I was able to go to the park for the first time in weeks and sit and watch my little one play. Met up with some friends. It's not very common that I'm able to do that, so that was really cool. But today, the biggest thing, and thankfully this didn't occur till after I got home, but that really horrible headache um, that you get from Paxlovid, or I don't know if it's Paxlovid itself or the ritonavir, the antiviral that is part of the placebo and Paxlovid. So I have a really bad headache, really, really bad headache, and intermittently I'll have a little bit of a metal mouth taste. But we know that's the ritonavir because um, that is, that's part of the placebo and Paxlovid, and that's what causes the metal mouth, so to speak, that you experience with Paxlovid. So that doesn't mean I necessarily received Paxlovid. But the headache, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's it for today.
Today is day 5, and the day started out pretty well. I had a pretty bad headache when I first woke up, but I was able to sleep in a little bit and put an ice wrap around my head, and it seemed to go away. We had a lovely brunch, and I felt great to be able to go out to a brunch, because I think it's been, I don't know if it's been a full year since I went out to brunch, but it's been a really long time. And then we came home and I crashed, and the headache came back really, really strongly, and I couldn't find my other ice pack that I wrap around my head, and so I just had one and was sleeping and drinking water, and it's just, it's been really miserable the rest of the day. And that's pretty much it for day 5. A little bit of nausea, not a lot of appetite right now. But I would say the headache is by far the biggest symptom of the day. I hope it goes away soon. This is day 6. The headache has gotten better and I feel overall better, but I was able to go to a little picnic today, and as long as I was sitting down, I was able to be outside for a little while, which was really nice. And I don't know, it was just nice to see people and just be outside, like I said. So I still have a bit of a headache. It's not nearly as bad as yesterday. It's much more manageable. And I keep running out of energy, but I've been doing more things. Like, I was actually able to concentrate for like half an hour on an application for the community where we're going to be living, that sort of thing. So I would say my brain is working a little better. I keep becoming really fatigued really fast, and I feel like more dizzy and lightheaded more often when I'm moving my head quickly or nodding or listening to somebody for whatever reason. I guess I nod my head a lot. So, yeah, but overall, better today than yesterday. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm laying down right now for my 3rd nap of the day. Okay, that's it for today. Today is day 7. I don't really have much of a headache today. I do not have metallic taste today. I am able to do a lot of stuff, but I still have to sleep a lot. But I'm not sleeping as much at nighttime as I used to. I used to have to go to bed around 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And now I'll usually fall asleep then, and then I'll wake up for a little while. And I think last night I actually didn't go to sleep at 7 or 8. I think I waited until 10:30 or 11 before I went to bed. So there's definitely small movements that are positive. I think my brain seems to be working pretty well, and I was able to get the application done for our upcoming move, or for our upcoming community application for the place where we're going to move. And it seems like, yeah, overall there are positive movements in the right direction, but not startlingly large. So that's it for today. Today is day 8. I woke up this morning completely drenched in sweat, and I noticed during the night that I had a lot of that. Couldn't wring out my clothes. It wasn't that bad, but it was definitely to the point where I needed to change my shirt in the morning because I started shivering because I was getting really, really cold. And I took my temperature and it was 100.3. But the rest of the day has been relatively uneventful. I do feel fatigued, but I was able to do a little bit more thinking than usual before my brain pooped out, and I didn't have to take a rest or a nap, like an actual nap, after I dropped my little one off at school. So that was good. So I guess a little improvement maybe in the fatigue and brain fog, but still pretty symptomatic. But any percent better that I'm doing, I'm grateful for. That's it for today. Today is day 9. I realized after I left the recording for yesterday that I forgot to mention that I woke up completely like wet with sweat, and I also had spotting, like as if I was going to have a period, a menstrual period, and which is weird because I'm on birth control so that I don't have periods almost ever. And yesterday in the evening, I started to feel better, and I actually, for the first time since I can remember, I was trying to do a very simple workout in my room because I felt like I had some energy, and I was so excited that I just like wanted to work out because I haven't been able to work out in any way, shape, or form other than slow walking for months and months. So I was really excited about that. And yeah, today I'm like just completely, I mean, I'm not completely bedridden because I'm able to get out of bed sometimes, but when I get out of bed, all I want to do is go back to bed because I feel so exhausted. And it's really frustrating because I've already slept like the entire morning, and I just tried to get up to eat a little lunch, and like I'm just really frustrated. Just really frustrated today. And I was thinking that I wanted to get an exercise bike for home, but now I feel really stupid. Like, why did I try to exercise? I should know better. But I'm in the study, and I thought, oh, maybe I'm getting Paxlovid, and maybe that'll help me. Because that's what happened last time when I was in the study and did get Paxlovid. So anyway, so there's a lot of stuff going on. And I still don't know if I have Paxlovid because I shouldn't have such a massive experience of post-exertional malaise after trying to do a simple workout. Like, anyway, that's today, day 9. Today is day 10. Still having a tiny bit of spotting. I feel really, really not great. I actually felt pretty bad yesterday. I think I am having some pretty severe post-exertional malaise, status post trying to do one workout now almost 2 nights ago. I was able to leave the house today to go get a massage. I'm trying to crochet to keep my mind off of how angry and frustrated I feel. I don't know if I'm going to try to get an exercise bike or not because I feel so bad from such minimal exercise. And I do feel that I haven't had to sleep as much lately. That's been the biggest thing that I noticed today. Like right now it's a little after 2, and I'm taking my first nap of the day, which usually this is my second nap. So there's a little bit of, but I guess the massage was 90 minutes and I was kind of sleeping during that. So maybe that counted as the first nap, but I don't know. I just felt like I was able to stay up a little bit later last night and all of that. And then today my brain is struggling a bit, but yesterday I felt like it was pretty good compared to what I've been dealing with lately. So still not really sure if I have the Paxlovid or not, because all of this could still be placebo effect. And I'm really bummed about the post-exertional malaise because I thought I was getting better. So anyway, that's day 10. Today is day 11 of the Paxlovid study. I am mentally relatively clear today. No more spotting. I have a temperature of 100.4, and I have had to take a couple of quite long naps today, and I'm not really able to do much as far as household chores. So that kind of sucks, but anyway, it could be worse. I don't have a headache or anything like that. So that's it for today. Today is day 12. I have a little bit of a headache, not too bad. I've had to take a couple of naps today, but a lot of days I have to take 3 naps, so I think that I'm doing pretty well so far. I think part of it is also because the rest of my family is out for the day, so I don't have anyone to take care of for the day. So I think that's helping me not need to sleep as much because I'm not expending as much energy. I think my brain is working pretty well overall. I am not really able to do a lot of physical stuff, but I did get a load of laundry done today, so that's good. But today was just kind of okay. Not amazing, but not too bad. So that's it for today. Day 13, I did not have to take as many naps, or maybe I think I had to take 2 naps, but they weren't as long as usual. And my temp was at one point 100.5, but a lot of that was because of a stressful situation in my family. And I felt overall that my brain was working a lot better because I could tell that I was more active in my planner and making plans for our move. So I could tell that I was feeling better yesterday compared to a week ago. And I'm almost to the point of going up the stairs at the same pace as the normal person, but I used to go up the stairs 2 at a time, all the time, and I'm not back at my previous baseline yet, but it's not, I feel like some of the heaviness from my legs and arms when I'm going up the stairs has improved. Day 14, things are starting to look optimistic, I would say. I was able to do a project in my bedroom that involved scanning a lot of books, and I know that doesn't sound like a big project, but for what I was capable of doing before that versus being able to do it now, it's just a nice break. And I was able to go to 2 different appointments today, and I wasn't so exhausted that I had to take really long naps. I still had to take naps, but they were shorter, and I'm feeling good enough that I think we're going to go out to dinner tonight, which never happens. So fingers crossed that we can put a few good days together. This is Catherine Marie, and today is day 21 of 25 of the medication. Actually, I think it's day 19 or 20 because I think I have 5 days left. So I guess day 20. So the last 6 days, I've slowly been getting better and better. I have been able to walk the dog longer distances. I was able to get on my bike today, which is crazy because I have not gotten on my bike since, it's probably been well over a year. Maybe last summer when, after I'd had the Paxlovid in the first study, before it came back full force. But I went yesterday to a strawberry patch, drove an hour and 15 minutes each way, and picked strawberries for 2 hours in a field. And I cannot believe that I was able to do that. And yesterday and today, I only had to take 1 nap instead of 3 naps. So I also have noticed that I can now go up the stairs without feeling like lightheaded and everything. And before I got COVID, almost 2 years ago, I used to go up the stairs 2 at a time, except if I was at work because it didn't look dignified. But if I was coming home or, whatever, I would always go up the stairs 2 at a time. And I have not been able to do that for a really long time. And I was able to do that today and not feel like I was out of breath. Now, some of what I'm feeling now that I'm starting to be able to do things is a little bit of my body going, whoa, I haven't done this in a long time. So sometimes I think that part of it is a little bit of deconditioning, but not nearly as much as people say that you are when you're telling them how out of breath you are from things. I am not out of breath for anything now, and I was even able to break into a jog while walking my dog and not wheeze at all. And the fact that I was even able to go into a light jog blew my freaking mind. I feel like I did last year, where I just feel like, whoa, this drug is a miracle drug. And my husband is so shocked by the difference, especially because, it's now day 20, so I've been getting it. It's been these extra days, more than the 15 days that I had last summer, because this time I'm sicker this time around. It's been really just in the last 2 or 3 days that we've been seeing some really big changes for the better. So now we are talking about, well, I don't want to go back to the way my life was for the last, I don't know how many months, 7 months or something. And before that, almost a year before I was in the first Paxlovid study. So I really, really want to get on antivirals after this study. So I set up an appointment with my PCP for Tuesday at 9:00 to get a referral for an infectious disease physician. And I also emailed the Stanford Long COVID Clinic to see if they have any way that I could get antivirals, because I feel that for me, with my long COVID, antivirals is the answer. Because I feel like myself. I was able to carry my daughter around today. I was basically I would say I was 80% back to normal, which is insane to me. So I'm really, really hoping that 15 days is enough on Paxlovid, and I'm really hoping that I can get on antivirals either continuously for suppressive treatment, or like just to suppress the virus, or a certain amount of time with the antiviral as a curative treatment, like to cure it so that I don't have it anymore. But I do feel as though last summer Paxlovid kind of was like a weed whacker and whacked back all of these thick weeds. And slowly over time, they've just been growing and really thick, in some ways thicker and worse than they were before. So I guess maybe it's like plucking your eyebrows, or shaving your legs. At first, when you shave your legs, you're thinking, wow, this is so nice. And then all of a sudden, those little blonde hairs that you used to have grow back as really dark, thick hairs. And I feel like that's kind of what Paxlovid was like. It was like shaving, and it seemed really great and amazing, but then it came back in full force, worse than it had been originally. So I'm hoping that Paxlovid for a longer period of time is like lasering off the hair or something so it doesn't come back. Or, I don't know, just more frequent shaving or waxing, or I don't know if I'm getting too carried away with this analogy, but I have hope, but I'm also kind of terrified to go back to what I've been living with for so many months. I cannot believe how different I feel right now. And I've only been feeling better for 2 days, so I'm hoping that I can link together a few more good days. But I have hope and terror at the same time, because I'm afraid that once I stop taking Paxlovid that I'm going to end up just like I was before. But I am really grateful to be in the study, because even if I go back to the way I was or worse, just having a couple of days with my family to have fun with them, I'm afraid I'm going to start crying, but it was magical. It was magical. Okay, that's it for tonight. Take care. Good morning. Today is day 21, and I would like to report that I just walked for a full mile, and I was able to intersperse some light jogging while also walking, but then also having to stop and pick up poop because, of course, I have to take my little doggy with me. I'm not running fast when I jog, and even with the jogging and picking up poop and all that stuff and walking, it was a 21-minute mile. But if you have long COVID, you get that is freaking awesome anyway, and that I'm really excited that my body is able to do all this, because a month ago, I couldn't walk. I mean, I could barely walk to get my mail, or I couldn't walk to get my mail. And, couldn't walk 100 yards. And the reason why I seem a little out of breath is because I just jogged a little bit and I didn't take my inhalers before I left because I forgot. But usually I'm good without inhalers. But I should have realized that I probably need them since it's been so long since I was able to really do this. But anyway, I wanted to report back that so far, day 21 of the 25-day Paxlovid trial is doing really well, and I'm really excited, and I have a lot of hope for the future today. Also, over the weekend, we did so much stuff. On Saturday, we did the strawberry picking, and then yesterday we did, what did we do? Oh yeah, we cooked outside and did a little barbecue, and I haven't really been outside in a really long time to enjoy being outside, Usually it's just something that I have to tolerate until I'm able to get, just get back in the house or whatever. So I'm pretty excited that I'm able to walk my dog. This is one of my favorite times to walk, in the early morning, when the sun has been up not for super long and nobody's around. And it's just the air is so clean and fresh. And my other favorite time to walk is during the golden hour around sunset time. But I was so excited I didn't want to wait until then. So I wanted to make sure that when I went to let my dog out this morning that I took her for a real honest to goodness walk, because I have not been able to do that for weeks, months. Yeah, actually months. Oh, and the only reason why it hasn't been a year or 2 years is because of the Paxlovid study last summer. That was 15 days. So I'm really hoping that the 25 days that I feel I clearly got of the Paxlovid, that it lasts longer than the 15 days from last year. And I think I already mentioned this yesterday, but my husband has mentioned that he really wants me to pursue antivirals because he's just blown away by the difference in what I'm able to do. And we both kind of agreed that it would be kind of crazy to just kind of go back to not being able to do anything and let the long COVID come back if it didn't knock it out completely. So I'm really excited and feeling really hopeful, and that makes me feel even more hopeful because like just knowing that all of these people all over the world are listening and being like, whoa, this is so cool. Maybe I won't have to live like this forever. You know, it like makes you want to cry. So anyway, hang in there. I'm so excited. I still may have post-exertional malaise, but I haven't had any yet. So I did have to take a nap yesterday, but just one nap instead of 3. So I feel as though everything is significantly improved with the Paxlovid, or I think I might be saying it wrong. It's either Paxlovid or Paxlovid. Paxlovid, I don't know, whatever, however you say it. I'm excited that it seems to be working. Finally, it took a lot longer for it to work this time. I think because last year I was not as sick when I was in the study as I was when I started this study. So anyway, we've now been walking 1.3 miles, 27 minutes in, and I feel really happy that we will at least close in on 2 miles. And I feel like this is a small miracle. So anyway, thanks for being on this journey with me. Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye. Today is day 22 of the study. I am really excited because that's my kitty. Because I walked yesterday and today for 2 miles. It was kind of like interval-ish training. Today I mostly walked. Yesterday I jogged a little bit more, but I shaved off a couple minutes on my time today. So it was 90-minute miles, which I know is not very good, but it was better than yesterday. I think yesterday was a 21-minute miles or something. 21, I think. So I have noticed today, though, that I am getting tired. It's kind of like this waxing and waning of energy. I don't, like, I'm not sleeping nearly as much as I was before the study, but I have to keep laying down in my bed sometimes just to be horizontal, and my temperature is 100.3, and I think that the Paxlovid is really good. I'm fairly certain that I have Paxlovid at least the 15 days at the beginning that is affecting me now, or I was one of the lucky people to get 25 days. I'm not really sure, but I talked to my PCP today and I said, hey, I really am responding well to these antivirals, And I really want to look into being on them regularly. And he made some good points. He said that I don't know for sure that I got Paxlovid. And I said, you're right, it is a double-blind study. And I won't know until probably November or so which group I was in. But I think that there has been such a significant change. Just the stairs. Instead of going up half a flight of stairs and feeling like I can barely get up the other flight, to go from that to being able to take them two at a time again, like I always used to do, is pretty dang nice and really, really good. It just feels really good. And it feels like I have some of my life back. It's not perfect. It's not even fully functional, but it's way better than it has been. So I'll definitely take it and hopefully be able to build on it. So I'm going to get a referral to an infectious disease specialist to see what they think. I think that my husband, he thinks that this may be like HIV or AIDS or something. It might be something where I have to be on suppressive antiviral therapy. And maybe at some point I will seroconvert so that I will no longer have long COVID. But the problem is we don't have these tests. We don't have ways to measure stuff with long COVID yet. And we also don't know whether Paxlovid truly knocks out long COVID or if it just is like a weed whacker and whacks it back a bit, but then it just, eventually comes back with full force, like worse than before. So we're still learning all these things, and it's frustrating. And my PCP and I agreed how frustrating it is because you just want someone to act. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. So this is day 22, part 2. So my PCP and I were talking about how it's frustrating because there's really no way to know the level of long COVID or where it is, or there are no tests. And because the study is double-blinded, we don't know if I just happened to improve, just by myself, not simultaneously. What's that word? What is that word? Well, you know what word I'm trying to say. Just like all by myself, independently. It's not the word, but so I either just got better on my own or it's the placebo effect. I said, I really don't think it's the placebo effect. I was not certain that it was not the placebo effect the first couple of weeks because I thought, it's still within the range of what types of days are good days or better days. But I think the last 3 days have shown me that there's a significant change in just a very short amount of time. But the bottom line is I reached out to 2 different providers to see what next steps might be, but it's frustrating because there is no protocol right now for Paxlovid long-term, and I don't know if 25 days is even sufficient, or if it has to be 25 days every 3 months or something like that. And my PCP made a good point that even if you have to pay, even if you are able to get somebody who is comfortable prescribing 15 days or 25 days of Paxlovid at a time, insurance will probably only cover 5 days at a time. And each 5 days costs $1,500. So I said, I would pay it. I would find a way to pay it if I get my life back, if I'm able to work again. I mean, what would any of us not do, to be able to work and live our lives as we did pre-COVID. So that is where I'm thinking today. That's where my head's at today. I am feeling really grateful, but there's a part of me that's just terrified to go back to the way I was. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm afraid I'm going to start crying or something. I just don't want to go back to that dark place where you're just having to be in bed all the time and having to carefully plan out your day. And if anyone sees you out in the wild, you've done your prepping of sleeping for hours before you leave and then coming home and sleeping for hours after you get home so you can look somewhat normal, but nobody has any idea how insane your life is. I just don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to feeling hopeless and worthless and frustrated and angry and all of those horrible, all the phases of grief and all that stuff. I just don't want to have to go back to it. I miss being around my friends. I miss being able to take calls and talk to people and to go to their house or meet them somewhere. I miss that. I miss it so much. And I've just been completely MIA for most of the people that I know for just many, 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 many months. I don't even want to count how many months it's been at this point. So I guess the bottom line for day 22 is I'm hopeful, but I don't know how to proceed. I seem to be doing well on the antivirals, but I don't know if 25 days is even sufficient. And if it is, will it be curative and I'll be completely cured afterwards? Or will it be like when I had the 15 days of Paxlovid last summer in the study and it came back, started coming back probably 2 months later. And then a few months after that, it was worse than it had ever been. So I just don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared. I'm hopeful. And I think that probably sums up how I'm feeling right now. So thanks for going through this journey with me. And I hope that very soon we will all have a gold standard of treatment that is accessible to everybody, no matter what country you live in or what city or what state. And that we will all get over this together. Okay, that's it. We'll talk again soon. Thanks. Bye. Today is day 23. I felt really, really tired and a little sore and tight when I woke up this morning, and I think that's just from increased exercise. I went out with my dog and we did a little over 2 miles, and I did just maybe 3 intervals of jogging over the course of the 2 miles, which were not very long. I feel overall pretty whooped, and I think this is starting to be, I think this is more just not being real conditioned at this point and not post-exertional malaise, but I'm not sure because it's been a long time since I didn't have post-exertional malaise, so not really sure. But I was able to get the exercise in. I'm now taking my first nap of the day, and I have an appointment for my disability retirement later today. So, and then we have stuff with the house closing and stuff. So, anyway, I think that's it for now. I'm trying to think of any other symptoms I have. Oh, one symptom I do not have is that when I woke up this morning, I was not drenched in sweat. So that's good. But all day yesterday, I had a temp of between 100 and 100.5. So today I do not have an elevated temp, and I was not sweating at night or this morning or even right now. So that is good. Okay, so that's day 23. Today I completed the first 25 days of the study. I went to Stanford and I got my blood drawn, and I did the series of laying down and having vitals taken, and then standing up and having vitals taken, and then waiting another few minutes, and then taking the vitals again, and then taking them again. The blood work was all the same as the previous couple of times, and I brought all of my pill boxes and everything back, and it was a pretty uneventful overall. I signed the little piece of paper because they pay $300 a visit, that I guess they do direct deposit or something like that. I had to set it up. So overall, I'm really grateful that I was in the study. I don't feel that I'm cured by any means, but I definitely feel like my quality of life has improved. And while I'm still not able to return to work, I definitely appreciate just being able to have a little bit more wiggle room as far as not having to sleep quite so much, and being able to think a little bit better, and being able to sometimes do social things without it wrecking the following 5 days. So overall, I highly recommend doing the study. I think that regardless of whether we get the placebo or whatever group we're in, it doesn't really matter, because we're helping to further scientific knowledge on what ails us and the best ways to treat it. And so we're helping lots of other people who cannot, for whatever reason, be in the study by participating. So anyway, in the description, it has the Contact Us website where you can check that out. And also you can check out the Recover Vital study at clinicaltrials.gov. And that's it. I'm wrapping it up. So there are still a few other check-ins, but this is the end of the medication, taking the medication for 25 days. So, okay. Thanks very much. Take care. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you would like to reach out, the email is longcovidrealtalk@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook group. The link is in the description of the episode. And if you would like to either call or text, the phone number is 650-382-2217. Again, that's 650-382-2217. Some people seem to enjoy texting more than sending emails, but either way, I'm happy to respond. Please consider subscribing, doing a review, and sharing this episode with someone else, especially if you think that they would benefit from it and if you enjoyed the episode. And I think that's everything. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk again real soon. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.